I had a chance over the weekend to go shoot these two guns. First time shot them since I bought them a little while ago, and I want to give you guys a quick range report. Shot 50 rounds through the Smith & Wesson Model 29 44 Magnum, and then I shot about 170 rounds through this, my Colt Series 80 1911 A1, and they shot really well. Accuracy was top notch. The guns shoot better than I do. Let me show you guys some targets. First of all, let me show you how the Colt 1911 did. I shot at both 20 feet and 50 feet. And this first group right there is 20 feet. You can see that's pretty much one hole, about 2.5 inches at 20 feet. And then next group, same kind of thing, got a little bit bigger, got a little bit less discipline as I went on. And then the next groups are at 50 feet. This is probably about a, minus this flyer, we're looking at about a 5 to 6 inch group, maybe 5 inch group, maybe 6 or 7 inch with that at 50 feet. That one again is at 50 feet. It's about a 5 inch group. And then down here is also at 50 feet, little faster pace, 10 rounds for my 10 round magazine. I shot various different magazines. Every single one of my magazines I ran through it. And let me see, I had one issue, which was my 8 round Kim Pro Tac Mag. I was doing a tactical reload. Actually, not necessarily a tactical reload, because I was really just shooting at an indoor range, but I shot 6 rounds and left the last round from the previous mag in the chamber, and then I put in the 8 round mag with 8 rounds in it, so I had 8 plus 1. And as I mentioned in one of my other videos about 1911s, that the Kim Pro Tac Mags, when it's full of 8 rounds, it's really difficult to insert into the mag well. So what happened is when I squeezed that trigger, it cycled the action, and the first round from the magazine was trying to feed as the spent casing was trying to eject, and it caused a double feed. It didn't have enough time. So I don't know if that is something that I can expect as a recurring issue, or if it's something that I just got to live with, but I suspect something like that would happen because that it was going to be so tight. So that's why I always use just use 7 rounds, even in my 8 round mags, unless I am doing a reload from a lockback situation. Other than that, because all these rounds that I shot were my own reloads, so they were not necessarily the hottest rounds, and this Colt has a really stiff recoil spring, and every time I go to cycle this gun, I can tell that it's a lot heavier. It's a lot harder to pull the slide back than my Springfield. That might be the reason also why that I had a handful of times where on the last round I didn't get the magazine to lock back. Not every time, probably 10 to 20% of the time that happened. I think it basically has to do with the fact that the spring is probably a heavier spring than my Springfield, and if I had a hotter load, then it wouldn't have any problems locking back. It wasn't specific to the magazine, so, and I'm okay with that. I'm shooting reloads, so it's not consistent, and if I really wanted to fix that problem, I just swap out the recoil spring for a lighter one. But I like this gun the way it is right now because it cycles fine, it doesn't have any fail to ejects, and it's really soft shooting. It feels really good, hardly any recoil. And that might also be because I shot this one after the 44 mag. I'm sure it has something to do with it. And I've got some snap caps in here. Gonna put that back in. Okay. So the 44 Magnum Model 29, I shot 50 rounds through this. And the rounds I shot were the reloads at the range that I bought. The reason why I bought them, I already had 50 rounds of this MagTech 44 Remington mag, and I didn't want to use them. Actually, what I wanted is to buy some reloads from them so I could have the brass to reload my own. And I'm set up now to do some 44 Magnum reloading. I bought some stuff from Midway USA that just got here last week. But the rounds that I bought, they were probably about 80% to 90% power. So they were not the hottest rounds, but they were powerful enough to give the shooter a good feel of what the 44 Magnum is capable of. Once again, I got snap caps in here. Of the 50 rounds, every single round fired flawlessly. Being that it's a revolver, it's inherently more reliable. Now, there was one little issue. I couldn't get it to replicate. I was shooting some of them double action. And I remember I was pulling my trigger really slowly, and for whatever reason, at some point, it felt like the hammer got stuck in the rearward position and it didn't fall. And I had to release the trigger to pull another round off. So what that meant was that I actually skipped a round in the cylinder. So I shot 5, and then I went back. I opened it up and I went back to the round that had an issue, and I fired that one off. Now I couldn't get that to replicate, so I don't know exactly why that happened or how that happened. It might have just been my really slow trigger pull. Maybe I was inconsistent with the pressure. Maybe I went back and forth like that for a little bit. That caused it to hang up. But the fact that I couldn't get it to happen again, I'm just gonna write that off as an anomaly. I don't think there's anything wrong with the timing or the lockup of the gun. And the single action pull is just really light. I'm talking, this is about as much of a hair trigger as any gun that I own. I mean, I just barely pull that sucker back, and it sets it off. That also makes it inherently very accurate, although I didn't shoot as well as I probably could have. I'm sure it has to do with the fact that it's a 44 mag. I don't know exactly what to expect as a recoil. Turns out it was stout, but it was fun. It wasn't uncomfortable. So this target's a little bit more mangled than the other one. That's because after I did my initial target shooting, I just kind of went crazy on the other sections of the target. But you can get an idea of what kind of groups I got. Here's the first group right here. I think there's 12 rounds in all in this section, and 6 of those rounds, or 8 of those rounds, are right here in this one big hole, right there between the 8 and the 9. So, and this is at 20 feet. Felt pretty good about that. Here's another group, and I believe this was double action. Here's another group right here. I believe I start pulling back to 50 feet right here. Here's a 50-foot 12-round group. You can tell the 44 mag bullet holes from the 45, because the 44, being that it's a truncated cone bullet, leaves a really nice clean round hole, whereas the 45 with its rounded hardball just kind of rips through the paper. Here is 50 feet double action. Just kind of goes everywhere for me, and plus by this point I would just kind of plinking around, not really spending a lot of time with my trigger pull. And here's 3 shots at 50 feet, one hand. And then here's the rest of my 45 shots from the Colt. Since I only have 50 rounds for the Smith & Wesson Model 29, I shot the rest of my 45s on this paper. Decent group at 50 feet right there. This is probably at 20 feet. I just kind of did maybe 2 or 3 magazines there. And here I think I was unloading probably a good 30-40 rounds just in this general vicinity. I wanted to see if I can cut through all this paper, and I ended up doing it. And then right there is a 7-round group with the Colt. So the gun definitely shoots much better than I can, but I'm pretty happy with how I shot, and I'm pretty happy with the performance. The only hang up being this one, which is the which was caused by the 8-round magazine with one in the chamber. And this mystery hang up on the double action pull, if somebody knows more about why that happens or how that happens, feel free to comment and let me know. But since I can't get it to replicate, I'm not going to worry about it. And that's my first range report on these 2 new to me pistols. My Colt Series 80 1911A1 and my Smith & Wesson 6-inch Model 29-3. Thanks for watching.